The Grow My Cleaning Company podcast helps owners of cleaning companies just like you to grow your company and yourself so you can make more money and finally get the time and money freedom that probably got you into this business. Discover how to automate and create systems that allow you to grow like crazy without losing control. If you dig the show and want to show some love, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. It really helps. Enjoy the show.
Hello, Clean Nation. Tracey Thompson here. I am so excited today to be joined with Anna Harris. Say hi, Anna.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Tracey.
Yes. Anna is one of our amazing next level clients. She's been through our whole elite program, took some time away to work on things on her own, and then came back to us in next level. And we've invited Anna here today. I'm going to tell you a little bit about her business, but we really invited her here today to talk to all of you about a really important topic. And it's something that I don't think gets talked about a whole lot, but Anna's going to share with you her perspective on the internal stories that she told herself about being ready. And I'm doing that in air quotes for everybody, ready to take the next step, to step out into that unknown space. And Anna has such a fantastic story around this. I can't wait to dive into it with you, Anna. But before we dive in, I want to just give a little bit of history of background of what kind of business you run. So Anna started Prime Cleaning in April 2021 in the Brainerd Lakes area of Minnesota. And she started off with vacation rentals cleaning, and has been transitioning into a recurring residential cleaning business model. So Anna, welcome.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit, we'll give a little context. Before you came into our world, tell us a little bit about your sort of mindset frame about what you thought you were capable of, and what brought you to us in that transition.
For sure. So I'll try not to go back too far. But I actually have a master's degree in environmental education, and my plan was to kind of just go that sort of collegiate route. My partner, Jeff, has always been a residential painter. That's what his dad did. That's kind of what he was doing. And when we lived in Colorado, we had a baby, and for me to send my son to daycare and then go work with other kids, I was working at a school at the time, just seemed like a big difference to me. So I kind of approached him and was like, why don't you teach me how to do painting estimates and let's start our own business? I feel like then I could be with the baby, we could kind of do our own thing. And I fell in love with owning a business, and I got so excited. I dove into learning so much about it that I could. But I think I scared him a little. He was like, whoa, I don't think we have the same vision. Like, I'm not trying to grow, and have a bunch of people under me. So yeah, that kind of took the wind out of my sails a little bit. So I was dabbling with different business ideas. I thought I would maybe be a VA and help other people get their businesses off the ground. And when we moved to the Brainerd Lakes area, I was sort of getting Jeff back up with painting. And that's when I discovered that people really needed the vacation rental cleaning.
Right.
But prior to the vacation rental cleaning, there was something where I would do all this work on my business ideas. I would build the website and do all this behind the scenes stuff. I had notebooks full of ideas and things I was going to do. Yeah. But when it came to actually reaching out to customers, there was something stopping me. Like, I just kept getting too busy, or I would decide, oh, this isn't a good idea. Nobody wants this idea. And there was
ready.
Yeah, I'm not ready.
Right,
there was just this thing holding me back, and I was getting really frustrated by it. I knew that I wanted to have a life where we had the time freedom, and I kind of knew owning a business would be one of the only ways that I could get that. Now we have a second baby. And I really wanted, I had this vision of homeschooling. I just couldn't figure out how to make it work. And I kept kind of resorting back to jobs when my business ideas didn't work out. So anyway, the vacation rental cleaning kind of started. And I guess because that was service-based, it was a little different for me, but I still was holding myself back. And I had, discovered Mike's podcast. and was listening to that, voraciously just all the time. And I was kind of a very DIY feeling.
Uh-huh.
And I'd heard one of the episodes with Autumn Dell, and something changed where I was just like, okay, I need to be in here. I think I've taken myself as far as I can go on my own, and I'm not moving fast enough. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm stressed out when people call out, when my cleaners call out. And so that was kind of the first move. That's sort of where my headspace was at, was that I think the pain of doing it on my own finally got bigger than the pain of changing or believing in myself.
Love that. That's such an important pivot point for so many people, because I know, Clean Nation, if you're out there, and regardless of whether you've been in business for a long time or you've just sort of hit your momentum or you're just starting, there is always that point where we all face it, right? We worked on our website, or we've done the legwork. We do the things that we feel comfortable with. And then there's that point where we go, okay, now I'm really squarely facing the outside perimeter of my comfort zone, right? I was saying, okay, what's it going to take for me to get past that? Because I will just say this, as a high performance coach inside Grow My Cleaning Company, success and what you really want is always outside of the proverbial comfort zone. And the stories we tell ourselves when we're there are going to make the difference between whether or not we get past those invisible barriers or not, or we spin in a spin cycle. So let's talk about so what I find interesting is you took that leap. You got outside your comfort zone. You joined us in Elite, which is our 9-week program, and then took some time in between after that to go back, to implement and do the things that you wanted to do. And then you came back, and I would love to hear about that next level of you saying, I'm ready. I believe in myself. Because I think that for Clean Nation, there's a lot of people out that know what they want, but it does sit outside their comfort zone, or maybe they don't quite believe in themselves. So what was that like for you, Anna? Maybe you can share that internal journey for you.
Yeah, for me personally, I feel like it kind of there was 2 big themes. One of them was, not only did I question whether or not I could do it, I think I'm gonna start to get a little weepy.
Okay.
But I also had people in my life who I think they also didn't understand the value in investing in yourself, and taking your life to the next level. So I felt like not only did I have to convince myself, I also kind of not necessarily had to convince other people, but had to navigate how to break out and make changes when people around me, didn't understand what that process was, and maybe were even scared by it. And some of that is actually their true perception, but some of that was just my perception of what I thought they thought, because I didn't really talk to them about it much.
Sure. Isn't it interesting, the sort of the games our mind will play, where we think we're being very reasonable, but the truth is we tell ourselves stories all the time. The difference is that story empowering us to do what's next, or is that story keeping us in this weird loop, right?
Yeah. So there's that, about, am I worth it? Do the people around me think I'm worth it? Are they going to get behind me and support me? And then there's, the financial investment. So it's, if you're sharing your life with a partner, is that something that you talk about with them, that you're, wanting to do this? And so all of those things were sort of keeping me back. And so when I was thinking about joining the next level group, which, there's Elite, and then you can continue on with the next level coaching, which is sort of the ongoing program. I had listened to a podcast by somebody else who said, they said, how will you know when you've had a breakthrough? And so I was like, okay, how would I know when I've had a breakthrough? And I'm like, I think when I pay for myself to go to a live event, that's when I'll know I've had a breakthrough. So I posted on the Facebook page for the alumni.
Yeah.
hey, who has the schedule for the live events over the next 12 months? Because I'm making a goal, to get myself to a live event. That's when I'll know I've had a breakthrough. And so I hopped on the phone with you, Tracey, and you just did such a great job of talking me through, those two main themes that I had: the support from others, believing in myself, and the financial investment, and just helping me realize that, like, what am I waiting for? My son is 6 now. So we started the painting company 6 years ago. That was when I first started getting interested. And I had gotten excited and let myself down, so many times that I just was like, something snapped. I was like, this is it. Like, this is it. I don't have any more time to waste on this.
Yeah, and you know what I love about that? It's so powerful. Clean Nation, I hope you didn't miss what Anna said here. She didn't say, I'm going to point out what you didn't say. And so it will really hit home, hopefully, for people out there that maybe are in the same position of making a decision and taking action. Is what she didn't say is, oh, I waited for these circumstances to change. I waited for other people to do things differently. I waited for them, though, that out there. You didn't hear her say that. Did you notice? She wasn't pointing to circumstances. It was all about her, right? And being ready within yourself really ultimately came down to, I'm deciding, I'm making a choice. Yep. The someday, right? I always like to say there's 7 days a week and someday isn't one of them. Right. Really, the someday is really the moment you decide and then take an action towards it. That's it. And we want to complicate it so much because you're like, gosh, if it's that simple, then it really is all me. Ultimately.
Yeah.
So you took that power back, really. You took it back from it being about other people or it being about circumstances to, now's the time. Just declaring, this is it, right?
Yeah, it was like I created a breakthrough instead of waiting and being like, when will I have a breakthrough? I was kind of like, I'm going to have a breakthrough today.
Right. Perfect. Imagine that. Deciding. So Clean Nation, is there something out there that you've been wanting to break through in your business, in your life, that if you, like Anna, were courageous, it takes courage. I'm not going to sugarcoat that and say, this is not for the faint of heart, but neither is being a business owner, is it? Right. So if you are right there on the precipice of that edge of something great, and Anna has shown that, okay, this is it. This is the decision. And that breakthrough is within her. She's decided to have a breakthrough. I want you to listen to this next piece. So Anna, I'm going to ask you a really introspective question now. Once you made that decision and you took the action, tell us about how that felt. How did the world around you change because you decided?
Everything changed. I realized that I had this vision of who I could be. And I just decided to start showing up as that person instead of waiting for somebody else to validate me or somebody else to believe that I could become that person someday. And I stopped thinking like, oh, I'll have to explain to people that I'm changing or that I'm, I just took a deep breath. I changed my posture and I just became a different person. And I just was like, this is how I show up now.
I love that. And there's a lot of validity to when you have an environment where maybe you feel out there, Clean Nation, like you're alone, right? You're alone in it and it's just you. It does help to have people in your immediate, you create the community, you purposely choose to plug in with people that share your vision.
Yeah.
that share the vision of you, share the vision of your future, all of that. So Anna, with us, when she came back, she leaned in. And this is such a huge difference. I think, Anna, there's so many individual business owners, and maybe they're even in a partnership, but they still feel alone.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can speak to what that's been like so far. I know it's fairly recent, but since you made the decision, everything started to change. Talk about what it's been like for you to have community and to have people that share that vision with you.
Yeah, that's been really amazing. I mean, not only the other participants in the program, we all, like, I talk to them now outside of the Facebook group. We make plans to Zoom and show each other how we're doing this with the data. How are you tracking that? What is working for you? And
Yeah.
I plan to go to the live event. So I've been texting with people about, let's go out to dinner beforehand. And these are people I've never met before,
Right.
and have
But
only
you have
been
a
talking
common thread, right?
Right. I've only been even exposed to them for maybe 3 weeks. So that's me too, like putting myself out there and reaching for those connections. You don't just plop into next level and then kind of wait for people to come around and talk to you, which they will, but that's, you just continue to make those choices. And having access to the coaches too is life changing. I mean, almost every single day you have access to a coach, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 days out of a 5-day week. You have access to somebody who supports you, who believes in you, who's telling you what to do, who's helping you work through, your self-doubt. It's just been literally life changing. And another thing that really validated just this being the right time, which, I've shared with you, Tracey, was that a really good friend of mine, another mom who has kids the same age as me, mine are 4 and 6, and her kids are 3 and 5, and our kids would play together. She actually used to be our daycare provider before we moved up to Brainerd, and we were friends. She passed away suddenly, and it left everybody completely shocked. And she also was getting into business, and she wanted to be a coach. And so that was something we talked about a lot, was making our videos and what like just all the different things about business. And she's gone, and she has 2 little kids too, and she just like ran out of time. And that was just another thing that's really pushing me to be like, I have no more time to waste. And that really clarified my fear. So if I'm feeling like, oh, I'm scared of making this price increase call, like, what? Aren't I scared of leaving my kids with nothing? That's, it's just so much a perspective shift. So now I can make price increase calls with no trouble. These things that felt like huge hurdles are now tiny. They're not even hurdles, because I just clarified what's really important.
You know what? I love that you just hit on something, and I've spoken of this in other podcasts, but this is a perfect place to bring this into clear focus in this conversation. And you said it. You learned how to harness the power of our what some people would call negative emotions or fear, or because we're going to feel that anyway. This is what motivates us as humans anyway, is to get out of discomfort or out of pain. The difference is choosing which pain that we're willing to focus on, quote, moving away from. And so what I heard you say is the pain or the perception of fear of taking a step like raising prices on clients, or even coming back into, to our world and getting the support that you need. Even that can be very scary. Was you decided that was less of a fear or less pain than the idea of running out of time and having your children be left with nothing, or being in crisis. So I love that. I love how you framed that. So Clean Nation, if you're out there and you're saying yes, but right? Yeah, I have this vision, I have this desire, I want to do this thing, but there's always a big old button right in the middle, right? But I have this other fear, or I have this concern, or I don't know if I'm going to be supported. All of those things. It really does come down to you decided what's most important. What fear can you harness, or what pain can you lean into and embrace as motivation rather than staying stuck, rather than being in a cycle. So, Anna, as we wrap up, what's one piece of advice that you would give Clean Nation right now about where they might be, no matter where they are in their business? What's one piece of advice that you can think of that if they followed it today, they would be in a better place today than they were yesterday?
I think if you are the kind of person who kind of daydreams and thinks about how you want your life to be, and you just dream that you can do more, you just don't know how to get there, but you're always thinking of like, what can I do next? And you have these ideas. I think if you just close your eyes and imagine the type of person that you are, that you want to be, that you're visioning.
Yes.
Really think about all the different parts of that person. Like, how do they deal with people not supporting them? How do they deal with fear? How do they deal with obstacles? Think about that. And when you open your eyes, just become that person.
Step into it.
Yeah, that's what I was literally going to say. The next step you take, you're a new person. And just
that.
Yeah.
I call it act as if.
Yeah.
Acting as if. Because the only barrier between you and your future self is you.
Is you. Yeah.
Isn't that interesting, right? I love that. What a wonderful way to wrap up this amazing podcast. Anna, thank you so much for sharing so much of yourself, to being authentic and being very raw and real with us, because I know there are people out there right now in Clean Nation that maybe have already graduated from elite and are in the position where you are, or they haven't even come into our world yet. So I'd like to extend an opportunity for you out there, Clean Nation, if you're listening and you are a graduate, like, I don't know if you can hear that. We have thunder all of a sudden. Like, wow. It's ordained. It's like thunder just confirmed. If you're out there and you've graduated and you would like to talk about Next Level, please email me directly. That's Tracey, Tracey, at growmycleaningcompany.com. Let's have a conversation. And if you haven't entered into our world, but you would like to explore what it might look like to get support, please go to growmycleaningcompany.com/talk and schedule a time with one of our coaches. Maybe you'll even have an opportunity to talk to Mike directly, which would be awesome. And take an action today, even if it feels scary. Be your future self today, just as Anna said. So thank you so much, Anna, for joining us. And Clean Nation, we will see you on the other side.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, here we are, the end of the podcast, and you made it. Great job. I've got a little bonus for you for sticking through with me, but like I mentioned before, if you got value out of this podcast and you want to show a little love, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Spotify, wherever the heck you're listening to this thing. Share it with a friend, share the love. And as a special thank you for those of you that stuck with me to the end, how about I give you my personal phone number so we can text? It's a great way for me to get to know you, your business, your goals personally. So shoot me a text now, 602-932-6431. That's 602-932-6431. I am the only one who responds to these texts, and I will personally respond to everyone I possibly can as long as this number is manned. Don't know how long we're going to keep this at the end of the podcast, so grab it now, 602-932-6431. Give me a text, say hey, can't wait to meet you.